I just want to start off by saying my condolences to the Smith family. You know, obviously Kyle, you guys know how much he means to me. He means to this organization, to Mr. Blank and Terry and I, in particular. Got a chance to work with his dad when he came to the Commanders for a small amount of time in Washington, and being around him and seeing what he was for the city of San Diego, and being a winningest GM and their history, and having so much respect for him and being able to bounce ideas off him when he definitely came with us in Washington for a while was an outstanding experience. And I'm just fortunate enough to be a part of that family and be able to meet him. And just wanted to say that. And with that, I'll open up questions for you guys.
Yeah, Coach, you all got to 90 after the tryout signings. Now you can kind of see how the roster is settled. What's your vision for the defense as you got the people lined up, and the attention that you all paid to the front seven in the draft?
You know, the vision doesn't change. We kind of talked about it a little bit, Led. We talked about those parts being movable parts, and just getting those guys all in the same room and being able to get some youth in that room. We got some aging veterans in there, obviously, with Grady still playing at a high level and D.O. playing at a high level. To be able to add big people with length in that room, we thought was a big, high priority for us, and to be able to do that thing, we were very excited coming out the draft with that happening. And now you get a chance to see those guys in the field together and how that's going to form and how that's going to mold out. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll have a lot of competition. Obviously, those guys are tough to grade up until you talk about training camp when the physicality of everything begins. But that'll be a lot of fun for us to get going with some techniques, some of the small, minute details that you have to get done up front. I can't wait to get those guys going. It's a big picture vision for those guys when you're talking about training camp being a real goal setting.
And tomorrow's now kind of a national holiday, the schedule release. Any thoughts on, what you all might be facing in schedule-wise when that comes out tomorrow?
A little less exciting probably for coaches,
right,
because we're always one game at a time anyway. But it's always exciting just for the National Football League, just in general. We found a way to make it another event, and I know it's exciting for you guys, and it's exciting for us to be out and doing those things, and exciting for our community, more importantly, and all of our guys. Our office will have a bunch of fun. I'm sure Tori will have a bunch of fun, and whatever they do, because they're so creative up there in that department. So I look forward to looking at that and doing the stuff that we do in our department, our video department as well.
And lastly for me, can we get a weekly update on quarterback Kirk Cousins? We'll be speaking to him later today. And I know we've seen some passes on the team website. He's throwing the ball and doing little dropbacks and so forth.
Yeah, well, you'll get a chance to come out to practice today, Led, right? I believe you get a chance to watch the whole practice, everybody but you. And we'll get out and you'll get a chance to see him. But he's doing everything that we're asking him to do right now. Obviously, we're limiting him with some of the stuff that we call, with the movement and things of that nature. But he's doing all the dropback stuff. He's in the pocket. He's able to handle the handoffs. You've seen him pretty much execute everything you would execute, and we're treating him that way. Now, obviously the tempo up front is a little different in the offseason, and people that affect the quarterback and how they get around the quarterback, we know it's not the same as it would be in a game, but we're really excited on where he's at in his progress. We're really excited where he's at in his mental capacity to hold the offense and what he's able to do and bringing it all out for our guys. And really, him as a teacher is really the exciting point right now. When he's out there and he goes through his progressions and he's able to throw a ball and he's able to coach somebody to the left side if he might have let something go to the right, just on how it should look and how we wanted to look. And I think those things, those details, those small details are the things that we're seeing right now, and it's really looking good.
Yeah, Raheem, when you do a deep dive into him, you see what it is from afar. But when it comes to Kirk, what do you appreciate more now in person that you get to see him, interact with him, that you didn't do from afar?
It's hard for me to even answer that question because I've known him for so long. In 2012, he was probably, I don't want to say the same guy because he's matured and grown so much, but he was very similar when it came to the attention to detail and his application to his work ethic and what he's going to do every single day. So I'm still seeing that, and I get a chance to get that back in the building, but I see the confidence now. He is so comfortable in himself, and he's so comfortable being himself that it just really attracts his teammates and his leadership style. So I really think those are the best part for me to see in the maturity of the comfort in the human, him being the guy, him being the leader, him being the person that's able to use his voice. All of those things really have factored in for me.
Hey, Coach, just to kind of follow up on that, when you think about Kirk and his personality as a leader and against the backdrop of teaching a younger quarterback, what's been your experience? Not all quarterbacks want to share all their knowledge. see that as a dynamic working out well with Kirk and Michael.
I think the oldness really belongs to Michael when it comes to those things. Kurt's trying to win a Super Bowl, right? Kurt is in full-blown preparation mode to set the Atlanta Falcons up for the best success that they can possibly have. And I think you get no better person to sit behind than a Kirk Cousins type of guy. And obviously, they're probably better, arguably, on other people's teams, but I'm talking about the one on our team, right? And I just think it's a great experience for Michael. And I think he'll learn a lot from watching him move and move in silence with his guys. And he'll learn on the run, because really it's the empathy and the humility of Michael that's going to come out more when it comes to learning those type of things. And I think that's the most important part of it all. You know, like everybody wants to make Kurt, you know, have to tell him what to do, but really he's showing him what to do by his everyday movements and his actions.
Raheem, I asked this question knowing that Kirk is a veteran,
Yes.
professional. He knows how this business works. Having said that, you drafted his replacement, and he wasn't happy about it. Do you see that as a situation that you have to manage?
I think it's my job probably to manage everything. You know, I got to manage the expectations from the fans and wanting to do something quicker than you want to do it, right? But we really had a plan going to this thing, and Kurt's our quarterback, and that'll play out as it plays out. And we got a guy in the building that we hope can be our potential guy moving on in the future. And I really love both of the people, and it's really about the people when you go look at these types of people. We invest in people first, you know, just from an overall organizational standpoint. And these two people, I feel great about it. You know, you might not necessarily like the initial goal, the initial reaction of what is going to happen, but if you sit down and you go through the process, you talk to enough people, you figure out what the goals are, and we get it on the line, and let's go to work.
Switching to a different veteran, Grady Jarrett, I know that he well on the road to recovery, but in your conversations with him as of late, how hungry is he to get back out there, and kind of where is he in his recovery? You
know, with Grady, it's really funny. It's not even a conversation. It's almost a look in his eye. You know, I attended a rookie community event with him last night that he was at, and just listened to him talk about his passion for Atlanta and his Grady gifts and the things that he does for us. It's just a reflection of what we left and what you miss about Grady and guys like that. And I just know what he wants to do for this city and how passionate he is about winning for this city. You know, right now, obviously, he won't be out there today. He's still recovering from his knee issue, but he is. And with that being said, that reminds me to tell Led about all the injuries. But, you know, Bijan won't be out there, right? He's got the ankle. And obviously, our rookie running back won't be out there. We've talked about that already. But we expect those guys for our mentoring minicamp. But with Grady, that passion and what he's able to do, just with the look in his eye, is really special. And with his young guys and being able to train those guys and talk to those guys last night, and to be able to address a room and just to be here, his presence is huge. You know, it's really Aaron Donald-like, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Aaron. We talked about this a lot when we were together, and how much respect we have for Grady and how much respect he had for Grady. But like, that presence is really special when you have that in that room.
What have you seen out of Clark Phillips so far through this process? He had a strong end of the season.
Really excited about Clark. He has had elite movement put on tape. This is a hard camp for defensive players. You know, stay up, don't hit them, stay off the ground, don't cause the confrontation. But he's done a really nice job with elite movement. He's done a really nice job with mirroring, matching. He's done a great job of putting the work in an individual in order to align himself to throw a great training camp. And I'm really excited about the young man and the player on what he potentially can do.
How the new special teams the way you practice in terms of the amount of time devoted to that, and maybe looking at different skill guys for certain roles?
Yeah, well, I tried that. I had this great idea. I was going to use somebody else to be the kickoff guy. That failed miserably. That was one of my first failures here, but we'll see how that goes. But, you know, putting the ball in the landing zone, you got to practice that stuff. You got to do some different things with some of the kickers that we have. You know, Koo is a phenomenal trick kick guy, which you can look on YouTube and see him do some of those things. But he could do some of those things. You can see the kickoff going down and how it's got to be retaught to everybody, you know, about when you can move, when you can't move, where your foot has to be. All of those things are going down right now with Marquise. And I wouldn't say I put more time into it. It's just that's what the kickoff part or the kickoff return part has been dedicated to. Just teaching the guys the new rules, teaching the guys the new emphasis. And like Marquise Williams, you can't be around a more detailed guy just in general. So, I mean, talking about a guy who was working with his gunners and had them run off the field and get inside the numbers and go back and get lined up, every single one of them in his own drill, just to emphasize the point of the rules. So I'm really fired up where he is in the kickoff rule. I'm really fired about the detail and the amount of energy he's put into it. I mean, you got to give the credit to really the special teams coordinator across the league who all, put their heads together and got this play back in. And I'm actually excited about it.
Quick follow-up, who was back there and why did the experiment fail?
Oh, we had a little tryout in phase 2 on who can kick the ball into the landing zone, and man, it was awful. See these great athletes not be able to kick the ball was unbelievable. But I should have known better.
It was more the kicking part as opposed to the return.
Oh, it was the kicking part.
Raheem, offensively, what are you trying to achieve, today, this week, in this immediate term, especially considering you're just kind of trying to implement this new offensive scheme?
Really detail, communication, having these guys be able to go out there and execute, right, on offense. Those are the things you can do in this camp, right? It has nothing to do with physicality. It has nothing to do with moving people off the ball. If Led was talking right now, I want to speed off the ball. Well, not right now, Led. So you got to pull those things back. And right now it's just about the detail. It's about the communication. It's about us being able to go out there and execute and do some of those things in and out the huddle. Some of the things you can coach right now that are really good, that get this thing, firing on all cylinders. And really finding player-specific things that they do really well. And that's what we've been in deep dive search looking at with our guys, and it's been going well. I'm really pleased with the one-day practice, and obviously we had our mandatory our veteran mini camp, but I'm really pleased with what the guys are going and the urgency that I get every day from the guys within the meeting rooms.
How are things going with Zach? Obviously, this is kind of his first time, doing it as an offensive coordinator and working with Kirk. How have you kind of seen that relationship develop over this phase?
I'm just really fired up and pleased with Zach overall, just emotional intelligence. I love the calm, cool demeanor that hasn't changed and is exactly what we thought and we hoped for. We had the ability to work together that I would want. And I think it's really less about really him. It's just his ability to communicate me at such a high level has been unbelievable. And I think that translates into the quarterbacks, all of them, Kurt and Michael and all the guys, Heineke and just everybody on board and Paddock. I think they really got a really good understanding of each other in a short amount of time, and that's really helpful. And it's not just Zach. We got a bunch of people in staff, T.J. Yates and some people, DJ Williams, and I think it's really forming Ken Zampese. They are forming this nice little roles for themselves and how to go about our business, how we move with the quarterback position.
On the flip side of what Joe just asked you about the offense, you said it's a hard camp for defensive guys. So what can they do to make you feel pretty good about where they're at this year?
It's really a lot of the same things. It's really the detail and the communication things that they got to do. You really putting yourself in position to do those things, so that goes back to movement. So it's a lot of the same things without actually being able to make the play. Right, you can't have the pass breakups and end up with somebody in the ground. That's completely off limits, right? That's what we don't want. So those things aren't happening right now, and that's what is really hard for a defender to really play in that mode. And I just equate it to when the league puts out a new rule within the system that you may not think is fair. It doesn't really matter. You got to find a way to go out there and get better every single day, and I think they've done a nice job of doing that.
And then going back to the quarterbacks for a second, you said that Michael can learn in silence behind Kirk. How much have you seen him just be hungry to learn right away?
I can just give you the example from yesterday and what he did. I don't even know if I should share this, but he just after practice, when he grabs his phone and he says the play to his phone, he listens to it on his voice recorder. He goes through the motions. He dictates the term on who's motion, who's doing what, and then he runs 2 sprints and he does it again at the other end. And I just think that's development, that's growth, and that's this young man just being hungry and he wants to know. And I love that about him. And that was some of the stuff that really attracted us to him.
You were really excited about the tryout players last week. What stood out about the 3 you signed to give them that opportunity?
Really what we talking about up front, it was the size of Bradley and I. It was some of the pass rush ability that he actually showed within the drill work and the framework we was able to go about. I know he's a veteran that has played a little bit, and I was eager to give him another chance, and he really fired me up. And then we talked about our young wider that we signed. It was the movement. It was how sound he was. It was some of the things that he's actually brought from other places that you can see that he's actually been coached up really well. So I was really fired up about those movements and some of those things that he was able to bring to the table. And then some of the potential special teams from Shank that he's already brought to the league and brought to the table that he got a chance to show us last week, and some of the movement and some of the things he was able to do in the special team drills. And he's got good sides as well. And talking about that length and some of the things that we talk about when you see him in person.